So, like chimps in a laboratory banging their knuckles on screens, the iconography is relative to us once again. Syrian, Mayan, Egyptian, pyramids, guys sitting, guys operating levers, things coming at them, things going away from them. Um, the sellouts, those who will trade their souls for the note. You see them when they go through airports. Everybody knows they have more notes than anyone else. And abeyance is paid to them. They're paid off. People are bribed. And there are those of us that don't and won't do that. Don't get me wrong. I had friends that were pimps, prostitutes, drug dealers, drug users. I mean, negotiation was the key, not politics. You had to navigate the crowd, so you had to do what was necessary in order to take care of the means to an end without selling your own soul and becoming one of them. You had to stay you and not compromise. And, again, I can only attribute this to education and the insistence of mother, because mother wasn't going to allow the streets to swallow me up. I mean, I was the maelstrom. I was the eye of the storm. I was there. I saw it happen. I've had friends who were standing out on the street. Someone just walks up to them and they're gone, pretending like they want to buy something. And the thing that they pull out is a pistol. Nate was gone, man. I almost walked into an ambush myself. I remember one night coming back from, uh, what was that? When the Mount Pleasant area and Adams Morgan, you can walk through there. It's totally different now, but you could not walk through there. Gangs ruled the neighborhoods, and if you didn't know the gang or if you were spotted, it was over. Some streets only had one light on them. One night I was walking down a one light street. It's right next to the dorm, and Meridian Hill Park. And Meridian Hill Park had a history, guys having sex in the bushes, drugs, murder, everything. I mean, you can Google it. I'm sure Google knows. I'm sure Bezos knows everybody's story. But you walk through this area, man, you take your life into your own hands. But we grew up in there, so it was sort of like we knew the area knew us. So I'm walking through this area one night, and there's a cop standing under the only light on the street. And you couldn't write this. And I'm walking down the street and looking at this cop, and I get close enough, he notices me, starts walking straight for me. And I'm like looking at this guy and I'm wondering what's up with this guy? What's going on now? Where am I going with this? And he walks right, and a guy stands right in front of me. He's a good foot and a half over me. I'm looking up at this police officer's face, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, yeah. And it's almost like he enveloped me. He was so huge. And I have all the respect in the world for the men who see the worst side of humanity and protect humanity against itself. I really do. It's just that you got to have a better vetting system, because some of the guys inside of your ranks are just absolute monkeys. But beside the point, like I said before, it's a man who's a police officer. It's a man who puts out fires. It's not fireman, policeman, truck man, this man. It's people that populate these areas, and the false alliances come with the basic ideology. There's a uniform there. But people betray that uniform all the time. But this guy was standing in front of me. I had all the respect in the world for him. I wasn't his enemy and he's not mine. The neighborhood was our enemy, and these guys were making the neighborhood more docile than it would be if they weren't there. If the cops weren't there, man, my neighborhood would have swallowed me. Sorry, but that's a God's honest truth. And so this guy walks up to me and he's like enveloping me, and I'm looking at this guy and I'm saying, "Yeah, what's going on?" He said, "You look like an intelligent young man to me." He says, "I'm sure that when you see helicopters flying around and men standing around with weapons in their hand, that something's going on." And I leaned sideways to look around this guy. All of a sudden, the whole world opened up, man. I heard the helicopter. I didn't hear the helicopter before he said that. Yeah. And color is irrelevant here. A man is standing in front of me. And all of a sudden, I look over here, and then there's like a helicopter, and I know the building. I know the building. The helicopter's flying around. They take out lights on entire floors in this building to sell heroin. Okay, and people are sitting in the hall on the floor after shooting up, and the only light is the exit light. And sometimes that's not lit, or sometimes they unscrew the bulb and screw screw it back so it lights up when they hear someone walking down the hall. And if you don't live in this building, you don't go in this building. I mean, I've been in the building because I had a friend that lived in there, and I used to visit them, and we used to like smoke weed together and stuff like that. But that was back when I was smoking and hanging out in my neighborhood. I mean, I had to get out of there eventually, but I would have gotten out a lot sooner if this man hadn't approached me the way that he did. And the way that he did was awesome because I looked around this guy and I'm seeing there's a cop standing up against the wall with a shotgun. And he's acting like he's covering himself from being shot at. I see guys with their pistols down on the ground in silhouette running across the barren, grassless backyard with the empty trees. And there's freaking helicopters flying around. And the building is under siege. And I almost walked into an ambush. I mean, who could have wrote this? So I had to walk. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know if I thanked him or not. I was like, I just turned around and kind of walked away and went a block over to get back to Blaze's house. And it was like, this is the negotiation. You come to Washington, D.C., it's on again, off again. I knew people that from butcher, baker, candlestick maker to corner prostitute, pimps, drug dealers, but everybody accepted me as I was. And I never was like them. I mean, I couldn't sell myself. You know, it was just too disgusting, to be honest. I'd have thrown up. So I couldn't do the stuff that they were doing, but I accepted them for who they were. And the ones that I got to know and the ones that I got to deal with on a personal level accepted me for who I was. I had people showing me dynamite, sawed-off shotguns. I mean, you name it. These people were doing it. I knew people who kept slaves and stuff like that. I mean, I knew pimps. I knew at least 10 of the hookers that hung out at 2 blocks away from the White House. It was my city. I mean, it's where I grew up. You had to negotiate. You don't have to be a part of it. You are a part of it, but you don't have to be an active participant in any of the corruption. You don't have to corrupt yourself. I couldn't corrupt myself. I think that's why I don't have much, because you can't pay me for this. Not with notes and stuff dug up out of the ground. I don't care how shiny it is. Gold, diamonds. You can make it look as good as you want. No, it's like, how did MC say it? Can't touch this. It's like, I don't want to be paid for, bought and so. That's all I saw. When I went to LA, that's all I saw. People wanted to buy me. I was like, no, man. If I sleep with someone, it's because I care about them, but I'm not gonna pay for it. If I eat with someone, it's because I care about them, not because they're buying the meal. I owe nobody nothing. I don't want to because they're smarmy. They're disgusting. They're vile. I mean, they're writhing and fluiding all over each other. Are you kidding me? It's like, oh, ill, ill. It's like secrete on me. No, thank you. Go take a bath first. Clean water. I don't need your secretions on me. I don't need you doing the things that you do with me or in front of me or around me. Or, the people that I had, it wasn't it wasn't a she's a prostitute or she's this. It's just like she's my friend, and it just so happens that this is what she does. I mean, I accept her for who she is. I don't promote that lifestyle. I don't believe it's acceptable. I wish she wouldn't, but she does it. So, but we're cool. She never pours it out on me. I'm hugging her and we're all close to each other. People think I'm her pimp. I'm not her pimp. This is my girl, man. I care about her. I don't care about all the prostitutes out there. I don't care about AKA prostitutes. I don't care about AKA pimps. I don't do the segregational category thing. I care about people, and if people care about me, then we're cool. If not, go to your side, man. Just don't come over here with that nonsense. And that's the way I grew up in DC. I mean, that is the story, that people sell out and roll over and bend over and do whatever over. You can't buy us. That's why we don't have anything, because we're not going to sell it to you. We're not going to sell out. We're not going to compromise our integrity and allow you to use us and abuse us. Like, you just like, here, I'll give you this if you just like, nah, man, that is not worth that. None of that is. Well, there's a saying. What does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? I'm not losing my soul for this place, over this place, for a bunch of dirt and different colors, decorating stuff. It's like, oh, your cave was put together brick by brick. That makes it more expensive, or it's still mud. I don't care if it's segregated mud, sliced mud, diced mud, blocked mud, round mud. Mud is mud, man. You cover yourself in these mud overcoats and you sell out to get it. I don't mind working hard for a living, but these mud people, they keep coming and taking your stuff, like the kids broke in my house and stole my piggy bank. They break into your bank accounts, your lives, and steal your stuff. I mean, look at Wells Fargo's had how many CEOs? Five CEOs in 5 years. Two were made to resign for fraud. They stole people's money, forged people's signatures, forged their account, used their name, used the trusted information to make themselves rich. And what did they do? They pay fines. It's like, this is what's up. This is what's going on. It's like bribery, scandal, defrauding, and treating people like their category to make a living. It's like me and mine. Even lions get an attitude. It's like nobody conducts themselves stoically like this and claims animal survival of the fittest, the beast, the preying on the weak, the sickly, the young and stupid, whatever. We're not going to allow these fools to pay us to get away with it. It just doesn't work. So a lot of the people in my community I associated with because of their integrity, the character of who they were. What they didn't really matter to me. There's no prestige in what you do. The prestige is in who you are and who you present yourself to be. If you can't be straight up and straightforward, all the documents in the world that you sign are not going to hold you or bind you to any kind of contract here, because they breach contracts, even, especially with each other. That's why they hold court, so that they can find something wrong with you and say you deserve it. It's like, I know nothing but wrong. That's all I know. That's how I know what's right. Because I know it's all on the other side, but that's okay. I embrace that I'm a pagan, that I grew up heathen, and I acknowledge my sin. I don't perpetuate it, live for it, embellish it, promote it, indulge in it, look forward to it. It's a plague. It comes with the flesh. I keep myself as straightforward as possible, but this is where I grew up. This is how I grew up. This is the story. I've been around the prestige and I've been around the sewers. I've been behind the dumpsters out back of the ballrooms, and I've been in the ballrooms. I've been around the haves and have nots. I could tell stories about both of them. Oprah was on the wrong side of the stage, standing in a sea full of wires, and I'm like, everybody's like, "Where's Oprah? Where's Oprah?" And I'm like, I'll get her. They're like, she's on the other side of the stage. One on the other side of the stage. It's like, Oprah, what are you doing over here, honey? Come here. And it's like, I called her honey, street talk, you know. It's like, totally lost myself in the moment because of the fact that I forgot I had to put on the prestige. But with her, I did it. It was very cool. She looped her arm around mine. I got her out of the wires. We walked to the other side of the stage, held her hand, escorted her up on the stage like I would any other lady. You know, it's about the humanity. It was like I've met so many people that way. I met, like I said earlier in another video, I met George Bush Sr. that way. You know, I didn't play into the prestige. I was there doing a job, and the man extended himself and his humanity to me, and we talked. It's not like, oh, there's so and so, oh, there's so and so because of their note figures in the banks and stuff like that. It's that humans interact with other humans and let the beast go where they may.